Today is January 24th, 23rd, excuse me, you're right, your mind is sharper than mine. 23rd, 1994, it's about the 11th of Shvat, okay. This is an interview with Mr. Oscar Goldman, and we'll just let it go from there. Let me put this near you. Go ahead, you start talking. I mean, just go for it.
Exactly how this thing took about. I was in the electrical business. I did a big job with the General Electric Company. One of their salesmen was in charge of merchandising from practically the entire East Coast, from Maine through Florida. Called on me every third Friday of the month. And one day he came in. We knew each other for a number of years. Well, goodbye, Oscar. And I looked at him and they're transferring you? He says, no. I have to retire. Are you kidding? How can I retire you? He says, well, at the age of 65, I have to go. I says, oh my God, no. I said, who's your boss? And he gave me his name, and I wrote to him. I introduced myself in the letter, told him who I am, and I said, excuse me if I seem to be very rude. How dare you? Chill, Mr. Starkey. Just think for a minute as you're reading my letter. Who's your attorney? A newly Harvard graduate? Who's your physician? Somebody just opened an office? Opened in practice for many years. Who does your accounting? How dare you? And that was the essence of my letter. 2 weeks later, Mr. Starkey came into my office with a big smile, and he grabbed me, and he hugged me, and he gave me 2 extra years. Never anything like this happened. And we sat and we spoke for a while, and he says, where are you going on your vacation? I think this was May. Well, this year I'm not going to Atlantic City. Now, they didn't have gambling then. In those days, I want to go to Europe. He said, really, where are you going? He said, I want to go to Rome, I want to go to Paris, to Athens, and then I'll finish with Israel. He said, oh, how nice. You're going to be in Rome when? I told him. He says, would you like to see some of the things in Rome that you normally don't see? And I goes to. He said, just give me your name and address. I did. Now, let me give you the letter that followed. More drink? You want something? I have all the originals, of course. I'm going to tell you about what happened. I just had them Xerox. This is the envelope. This is the letter that came after. You'll notice they're stuck in Jewish businessmen.
Great. Yeah, I got to make a copy of that.
I'll give you this, but I would like to have
2 more copies.
Two more copies.
No problem.
Some of my friends will ask me.
He wrote it?
That was the invitation from the Pope to
This
Gulman.
is, follow-up letter.
July 7th. Great.
July 7th.
1962.
With Fabius asking you keep everything. I said, sure do. You see some of the letters I sent you? I said, oh yeah. One page missing. The back of this I had Xeroxed. It says gold for Goldman. These are the letters, one for me, one for my wife. When people tell me, they've gone, how did you go? Well, I went. It's just this, you don't walk in.
No, you don't.
And the next page is the letter I wrote to this Polish fellow.
Because he came
from Poland.
Came to see Mr. Goldman. Okay. Okay. We'll make copies of this.
Okay.
Get back to you. Okay. Continue.
Well, when I went to get my tickets, I met, I think it was Father Cunningham. I don't know, anyway. He said, have a good time, enjoy it. And they showed me around. First of all, we have there.
I was in the back.
I joined the rotunda.
It looked pretty much, I saw the Sistine Chapel, I saw the rotunda. I thought it was different. It was a very small room, it's not a large room.
Did they ever say anything to you about the rotunda, about the chapel, about all the artwork that's up there?
Well, it's
Michelangelo.
Right.
What else about it?
Well, at the time, it had been, I think it had been reconditioned at the time I had seen it. It's not a large ceiling, it's not a large room.
No,
it's a very small room. I thought it would be an enormous...
So did I.
Enormous room, but it was rather small.
Painted everything in the nude. They were all nudes. And what you're looking at, he says to me, is the man who took us around. He dressed them. Pope, Pius, Pacelli. Pacelli didn't like the idea and he had him dressed. And he scraped that off, right down to the raw flesh.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Well, he told me.
Interesting.
Anyway, I said, well, when do I'd like to meet Father for the job? He said, I want to tell you something. Nobody can meet him. Nobody. He says, if you were a head of state, you could meet with him. If you were president, sit with him in his room. Otherwise, he is never alone. He sleeps in a room with either a bishop or a cardinal. Never alone. He said, but I'll take you over to see him. Then he took us over to the, it was like a porch. And there you see this fellow dressed in a brown suit.
In what suit?
Brown suit. Wearing a little white yarmulke, walking with his hands behind his back. He walks up to the Jew, doesn't he? He says, that's right. He says, who's that with him? He says, Bishop. He says, he's rehearsing what he's going to talk to you about. This was in the garden. And then when they brought the Pope in, it's thrilling. I have movies of it. Thrilling. I didn't take movies there. I didn't think you were allowed. But I had the camera. 4 Swiss guards carry him.
Swiss
guard.
Guard, 4 men.
They carry the Pope.
Carry the Pope. He sits on a throne. two in the front, two in the background, two long rails. They're dressed in black and white. The costume they wear is half. One half is black, one is orange, the other half is orange. They were in the front, and the two in the rear were reversed, orange and black. Brought them in, everybody got up and applauded. There were 27 people. And they walked out, they stood on the side, and he said, spoke in Latin, and it was translated first in French, then in German, then in Italian, and then in English. Thing took, I don't think it even took 10 minutes, but anyway, but he said the essence of it was, as you sit in this room, I greet you French people, German people, Italian people, and you two Jewish, and the other two, consider you, the other two who are sitting here. Everybody turned around. We were in 4 rows. First 3 rows were these people. I don't know who they were. The 2 in front of us were nuns. There were 4 in a row. 4. And we, the 2 of us, my wife and myself, sat in the back. Everybody turned around to look at her. And when he was practically through speaking, what he did say was, as you sit here with love in your heart, waiting for my message, I pray for you, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you carry this love on forever. And before we left for Rome, on our vacation, we left on a Sunday. On Friday, a young man came in from the chancery. He asked me, who's the fortunate one? Can I help you? He said, well, who's the fortunate one to go to? Yes, Mr. Goldman, who's partners with my brother. He says, which one? He's the one who's fortunate to go visit the Pope. I said, that's me. He said, okay. From the Jewish faith? Yes. I want to give you the protocol on how to act when you visit with him. You don't have to kneel if you don't want to. You don't have to kiss his ring if you don't want to. And you don't even have to put anything in the poor box. And he wished us. Pushkin, nothing. And wished me luck. That was it. He showed me his credentials. When everybody got up, when one of the nuns turned around, he said, he is through. He's going to give us the pontifical blessing. And I don't think you're going to kneel. So you can now take pictures. That's when I got my camera rolling. And everybody walked up the line and kneeled, kissed his ring, and we sat. I myself sat. These 4 guards came out again. They carried him out, and I said to my wife, let's go out that way. She said, no. So what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? We walked out, and I said, stop moving. Touch cold. A solid chair. 4 people carried him.
Yeah,
he was sitting on a chair.
The chair was made out of solid gold?
This is all hell. Solid gold.
Solid gold.
Solid gold with red velvet here and a little red velvet cushion here. A couple of £100 for sure. That chair. Now we stayed a minute. I walked around. I looked at it. I said, let's go. We walked out the way we came in. This was my visit with the Pope.
Well, how did you get down to the lower chambers?
He met this fellow, he met us in the rotunda. He was holding a little plaque on Goldman. He walked over and said, Mrs. Goldman and Mr. Goldman. He said, okay. He looked like a prison guard. Had a ring of keys. He said, follow me. We walked down they wrote, I don't know what they wrote, 4 or 5. I think there were no more than 3 floors down. There's a spiral staircase. Had the key immediately. He opened the door, and the room was dark.
You were the only people going, right?
The only 2 going.
Now, how did he select you to do this visit? Did you ask for this, or?
Oh yeah, I asked for it when I came to pick up my tickets.
What did you ask for?
I asked this fellow. I think his name was Cunningham, Father Cunningham.
Right.
He said, I'm a divinity student, and when I was 10 years old, I was taught that when the Romans came, they destroyed the temple. They took many of the things that were there. I'd like to see them. The fellow who showed him around and showed him. These were his words.
Oh, this was Cunningham's, Father Cunningham saying
Father
this?
Cunningham.
Saying this to you. Yes, I saw that in the letter.
I think it was Cunningham.
I saw that in the letter. Now, so you had asked for this visit to see what artifacts they had.
I knew nothing what I was going to see.
And they only took you 3 stores down. Was it dark and dank? There were lights? I mean, what did it look like down there?
It was dark. When he opened the door, we stood there, my wife and myself, and he was on the side, standing there, and we looked, and the light they had a drop light in the hallway.
In the hallway?
In the hallway. And that's the only light that we had.
No light in the room?
No light in the room.
How large was the room?
I'd say 15 by 20.
Feet?
Maybe a little larger than this room. Well, this room is large.
And it was all dark?
The room was dark.
Was it made out of wood? Was it made out of wood?
Room?
Yeah.
No, I think it was made out of plaster, cement, or whatever.
Now, this was 3 stories down
from the rotunda.
From the rotunda.
Coming down.
Straight down.
Straight down. We walked out of the rotunda and we followed him down.
Okay. And what did you see in the room?
We stood there. Forward to the right was a menorah on a, I don't know if it was a box or a table. And all I remember seeing were I didn't see the pedestal. I didn't know if it had a pedestal, but it was standing on something. On the other end...
What did it look like, gold or...?
No, gold.
Pure gold?
Pure gold. It wasn't shiny.
No, wouldn't have expected that.
No, it wasn't shiny.
Real dirty.
Well, I don't know, was it dirty or is it just dark? Oxidized,
Oxidized, I would say. But you can see gold.
This was gold, pure gold.
Pure gold.
First of all, how large was it?
I would say it was about 3 feet, 30 inches, maybe 30 inches.
Tall?
The height was, maybe 30 by 30.
It was 30 inches long and 30...
Yeah. I didn't see a pedestal.
Now how many
pedestals
like a table?
How many candles?
But in other words, you didn't see a platform pedestal for it?
No.
Like
I didn't see
the Archititus?
No, I didn't see
Not like the Archititus?
No, I didn't see
the menorah that has the configuration of a pedestal part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ask him how many candles.
Why not?
Just ask him that.
Why didn't you ask? How many candles?
7.
It was 7.
That's it.
7. And what I wanted, why...
Did they have the flowers? Was
that's what I'm going to tell you.
Pracha?
What I missed most of all, when I learned this, when I went to the yeshiva as a little boy,
yes,
I couldn't imagine how they made this out of one piece of gold. It was made out of one piece of gold,
right.
Especially the prachim,
right.
The flowers.
And
I stared at that more than...
So you saw that it could have been made out of one piece of gold?
Oh yes, definitely, it was one piece of gold.
This was one piece of gold?
One piece of gold.
You're in the electrical business, so you know electrical plating and everything else, so you know metallurgy, in other words. So you saw this as a...
People have been asking me about the various kalim. They were all black.
Kalim utensils of the Beit HaMikdash, of the temple. Before we get to the Kalim, I must continue in the menorah because that alone is
fascinating.
Is the most fascinating.
That's correct.
That's
correct.
But the prachim, how did they look like to you? What did they look like?
I don't know.
Were there rows of prachim?
I don't know. No, each one they were like this on every one of the arms.
Yeah, like
there were no prachim on the arms themselves, just at the top. The top.
No. I'd say more towards the bottom.
The whole bottom, like
more towards the bottom.
Can you draw a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, here. Draw it on here. Why don't you draw it large for me so that we can just sketch it for me, because I'll put that in too.
This is what I saw. This is what I'm sure it was standing on something. This is what we saw. And I think the flowers were about here.
They're all around.
What did the tops look like?
They were regular, probably.
No.
Like a regular menorah.
Yeah, that's what I look like. Now, there was a shulchan. Well, this was in this corner, right here. There was a table in front, had no gold on it. No gold on the table. And on this side was a sink.
Mm-hmm. What, made out of what?
Must have been made out of metal. I think it was metal. It was black. And hanging from the ceiling, in front of this thing, were two pokers. And then that was for the deshin, or whatever. What it was doing there.
Mm-hmm. You said the Kinor and
I saw it over here. This was on this side. The table was here, the menorah was in the corner.
Which corner was it?
The front right. I made this in the middle. It was over here. Now I think it's an Achrotis and Gemara, whether this was round the way they picture it, the way I saw. I saw this. I think Muhammad Prague, and it was like this.
With the menorah?
Yeah, that it was like Israel shows it. No.
But this was round rather than square.
I don't think it was the one.
Oh, wait, Shalom. We don't know the answer to that. The menorah that's in the Arch of Titus is clearly round, not square.
This
so
is what I saw.
Now, whether this is the same menorah from Moshe Rabbeinu or whether it's the menorah, they may have lost the menorah.
Moshe Rabbeinu stuff, according to...
Probably got lost. Or swallowed up?
Swallowed up.
Yeah.
I don't know, swallowed up.
The menorah, we know that the second base of Mikdash already, they probably didn't have his menorah, so the likelihood is that this was a menorah from the second base of Mikdash period, which we know it should have been, and it wouldn't be surprising to see it this way. Now, yeah.
It's supposed to, in school they told me it's supposed to be not round, it's supposed to be like straight down, like on the sides.
A triangle?
Yeah.
That's what the...
No, like straight and on the sides.
Well, this is
the Bible shows it.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, but most likely the Arch of Titus has probably the best replica of what they took, and that would make sense that this is the one they took. How much do you think it weighed?
3 pounds.
With hollow or flat, made out of a flat piece of...
But it looked solid.
It looks solid. What can I estimate?
Well, you estimate
60 pounds. 60 pounds. I really never thought about the weight.
Okay, I just want to get...
Now the table, when they asked me about the table, I was asked about the Begadi.
Right.
I said, didn't see anything. I said, okay. It was known that they were burned. Clothes were burned. So there should be no...
Clothing, the temple, the priests, the Kohanim's... Now, what about the shulchan, though? Do it another shot of what the shulchan looked like to you.
The shulchan was, to me, was a rectangular table.
And the dimensions on it.
Maybe 8 feet. This was...
It didn't have legs. It was solid.
No.
It's like a desk.
No. This had legs.
It had legs.
It had legs. I was able to see what I saw, what I'm telling you, I saw in 1 minute. You know, if I ask you to look at that wall, and you looked at the wall and said, okay, tell me what you saw. See?
And it's been many years, so, but you saw legs.
Oh, but I'm saying,
the shulchan didn't have any levels to it? It was just
nothing, flat. Table like you would see in a catering hall. And there was no gold around it. I definitely know there was no gold.
They may have taken the gold off.
They may have stripped it.
Did you see any areas where they would have stripped it?
No. Now, hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
They have frying pans.
How many?
See, altogether, maybe a dozen, 15 pieces, I don't know. They were also black.
All black. No.
All black.
Burned up.
They were out of copper.
Oh, oxidized. It's probably oxidized copper. Right.
Black.
What is oxidized?
Hanging on a string, from one end to the other.
Did they say anything to you about it? Did you ask them how long they've been sitting here? Did you ask them?
Didn't talk to the man at all.
Didn't talk to
The
him
only
at all?
thing I said to him was, who's the man walking with him? Why can't they see him? He said, he's a bishop. And he also told us, he is never alone. He sleeps in the same room with either a cardinal or a bishop. And the only time he's alone is when he goes to his private room, to the toilet. That's exactly what he told us. And when the woman, I think 2 months later we read about it, the woman claims the cleaning lady came in and she found him dead. She thought he was sleeping with the little table like you have in a hospital table where you put your food, that's what you read. And when I read it, let me read this.
Wow. 2 months
Don't
later.
you dare, don't you dare. And later on, and he was poisoned. He was so nervous. When they brought him in, he wore a white chalat or kittel, with the same little white yarmulke, and he wore a bar mitzvah boy's talis over it. This little man here, I didn't see any fringes, and he sat like this, with the brown suit, he was with the brown pants, and this is the way he sat all the time, talking.
Just moved. All over. Sounds like me.
In all these years, do you reported this when you got back?
Yes.
And who reported it in what newspapers did it appear?
Well, I don't know about newspapers. The first one who came to talk to me about it, about what I claimed, was Rabbi Gorari.
Gorari?
Gorari.
Or Gorella?
I think Gorari.
From what?
Lubavitch.
From Lubavitch,
I think it was Gorari.
Okay. And you told him about this?
He sat on my piano stool, and I was sitting here talking to him.
And who else have you talked to over the years about this?
Various people. I haven't spoken about it for many, many years until this Adamiet came to see me.
Did he say that he would try to get the Kalim back to Israel?
He would try his best. And he said, I believe...
Is he still with us? Is he still... So he's still presumably working on this?
Gets to New York, he told me, I didn't know somebody called like you did. On the phone, he'd like to visit me. I didn't know what I wanted to see. So, he would like to come Thursday. I said, fine. And being so close with Fabian, I called him.
Right.
And he says, of course I'd like to be there.
You can tell Rabbi Schoenfeld that I was here.
I'll tell him.
He knows who I am. Now, I'm giving you my card, by the way. I don't say it. It says my name in it. It's obviously a tremendous... I've been waiting for this moment for such a long time to find out, because it was hearsay that everyone said that there were Kalim in the Vatican, and you were the first person that I've ever heard about, read about, that actually saw what appears to be true Caleb. I mean, there's no...
No, what am I doing with it? In fact, I said to this man, I was sitting here, Fabian was sitting there, he was sitting close, and what Fabian said to him was, I would like to know something, besides many other things. Why did they pick on the Massacre of Goldman to show what he says he saw? I believe that he said what he saw, he saw. Why did... So he says, Rabbi... So I said right away, he said, Rabbi, if nobody was here, it's Fabian and me. Chazan of the shul. I says, Rabbi, why do you belittle me? He said, no. And this fellow says, now look, Rabbi, he was sitting here. He said, this lamp was started by somebody. This telephone was started by somebody. Started with him. We don't know how far it'll go.
Well, it's going to go a lot further than it's ever gone before, I can tell you right now, because you ran it to me. And I will take this immediately to Ariel Sharon and see what I can do with it. I don't know if he's going to, do anything with it, but if he doesn't, I'll find someone who will. My feeling is that clearly there's a relationship now with the Vatican, and they have to make good on it. And one of the things, as you pointed out, was that the Polish people feel
what he said to me.
They'd like to make up for all their crimes against the Jewish people over the years, particularly with the Holocaust. And I think this would be a tremendous way to do it.
My grandparents' day, they came from there. My grandma and one of my aunts
they were burned in the Holocaust.
Did he tell anybody? Did he tell anybody when he saw it when he came up?
Yeah, he says he did speak to people right afterwards.
Besides the rabbi, did he speak to any?
He spoke to... How did Steve Lippman find out about this? How did Steve Lippman find out about you?
I don't know. I never met him. He called me on the phone. Well, I was telling you about this Polish fellow. You have an appointment for 2 o'clock on Thursday. It was made on maybe on Monday. He called me Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and he says, I have to cancel our appointment. I had called Fabian in the meantime. Sure, I'll be there. Fine. Wonderful. I got a telephone call from him. He's sorry. We're having Polish elections, and I can't make it. So I called Fabian, and I knew the whole thing is a bluff, the stemmes, the whole thing is not so. There is no election. They're making ourselves the other way aboard it. That's it. Come to shore. The Oscar was right. The whole staff left American States. And the funniest thing, he asked me not to, don't spread it thinly, his coming to see me. I said, fine. But I did call Fabian. I knew Fabian was coming. So when he came, I was sitting right here, waiting for him. And the rabbi says to me, I asked him, when is he coming? It's 2 o'clock. All times he's on lecturing at the yeshiva. He says, talk to him, keep him occupied. My wife was here, my daughter came, she prepared coffee and cookies and all. And when he came, I apologized immediately. He had a slicker over one hand and a portfolio over his other. And I says to him, you'll have to excuse me. You asked me not to spread it thin. That's what he said. Don't spread it thin. I says, I invited my rabbi. Okay. I said, if I was Catholic, I'd want my priest to be here. I said, okay, Mr. Goldman, fine. When Fabian walked in, he got up. He said, I know you. But I don't know you. He said, well, you wouldn't know me. Did you? You spoke And he tells him, he says, yes. He says, I was in the audience. He says, you were a speaker, so I saw you. I sat in the back. You wouldn't have seen me. And then my chauffeur took over without the lights. The entire thing.
Why do you think they did show it to you?
I don't know.
In 1962, of all years.
Why did they show it?
This was, of course, before 64 when they did their major edict that took away some of the blame, I guess, from the Jewish people towards their...
Why? I don't know. That's what Rabbi is. Why, Oscar?
Are you a Kohen?
No, I'm a Levi.
You're a Levi. You know, these types of things will never be answered because we'll never know.
I don't know if that really was the one.
Well, I want him to see something very interesting. And you, Tim, when we went to Rome, we stayed in Venice, and
they wouldn't let you take pictures with them.
Of the Pope?
Of the menorah.
I think they would have. I was sorry. I just didn't know what I was doing. I was so excited.
Yeah, of course.
I wore a little, you know, this is the young Israel insignia. I have them all over the house.
That's the one.
I'm sure you saw that. The word my lapel. See, that's young Israel.
Mm-hmm. What is this, a pen or something?
Mm-hmm.
Copper.
You said you have 8 great-grandchildren?
Oh, yeah.
10 great-grandchildren.
8 in Israel.
8,
Is this real?
Of course, this cut it off there with 6 then, so.
There's something very interesting about this.
Yeah. Israel Tigran Hills Journal Award, Oscar Cole, 1960.
1960, we'll see.
Wow.
1960 from now.
I wore this in my lapel.
33
and
years.
we were in Venice.
34 years.
And the fellow who was throwing us around at the gondola says, did you ever see how they blow glass? I said, yes. This is at the World's Fair. So he said, would you like to go? I said, what, to the World's Fair? He says, no, he says, how they, would you like to see? We had nothing to do. Anyway, it was a day of leisure.
Right.
I said, sure. And he took us over to watch how they make glass. And there sits an old mountain boy. To me, he looked very old. I was much younger then. Blowing glass, and he was smoking a pipe and just blowing this big thing. And he looks at me and he says, I make that in glass.
What? This?
No, the little...
I don't eat it. It'd be very nice. Well, eat in glass. I don't eat it. He said, you like that? Make me a picture. They gave me a piece of paper. And I made a picture of young Israel. With the lower at the star.
This?
And the luchos.
Yeah.
So I just sketched something. He says, I make for you. He says, like that. I said, how much you going to cost? I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, how much you going to cost? $168. I said, how long is it going to take? I'm with my wife. He says, I make fast. I'm going home tomorrow, go back to America. No, take time. I make food. He looked honest. I gave him $168.
He wasn't.
Never argued with my wife. What did you do? You're an honest man. It took 4 months. I get a card for customs. There's a crate waiting for me. This is what went.
All this is it.
And what's on the card is
4 months.
a Kiddush cup.
That guy is...
Wait, she's going to show you what he got. So, let's wait.
This is crazy. That I chipped them.
Well, maybe not.
And the island cup.
This is 22-karat gold.
Wow, what's inside of it? It's purple.
It's gorgeous.
Whoa.
Look at that. Look at what he's got there.
Oh my God.
No, yes, he really, he didn't, he was able to do it. Oh, wow, look at that.
Look at Moses. And he was discussing Moses with me. He says, you see, the horns, I said, that's not horns. He says, you Karnayim. I says, Karnayim are rays from the sun. He was a very smart man.
He obviously was.
This is my coach already.
Yeah, that's what you probably should use.
That's gorgeous.
Isn't that something?
This must have
That's going to be beautiful.
This must have been Dad.
Right here.
What are those horns?
That might have been related to Michelangelo.
What's the horns up there for?
They're not horns. Those are rays of light.
Rays of light. It comes from Hashem.
Is this real glass?
Real glass.
It's purple glass. Stained glass. How old is this? How old is this?
32 years.
1962.
Well,
use it in good health at Medvez from Shana. It's
I
beautiful.
wonder it took 4 months.
Beautiful. Well, this has been absolutely fascinating.
Tell me.
And I'm sure I have many, many more questions. And
Can we come back tomorrow?
You have any more questions? You want to ask about the menorah? You want to ask about...
I have something that...
Would they let you back in?
If they invited me, I think I can...
Are your friend, is your Mr. Starkey still...
Oh, he must be gone. let's see, must be 1960. No, this was 19...
He would be 95, 98 years old.
You gotta take a picture of that, your mommy.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Here, why don't you hold the coast here?
Oh, no, you hold that, I can hold it.
No, you do it. It's
come
more...
sit with me.
Okay, you sit
Come
down.
sit
Sit
with
down.
me. I like to get the...
Moshe? Oh, the menorah. The menorah is better. Yeah, you had it there.
I had it before.
You had it in
Right
front.
here.
A little bit, turn it a little bit more. And turn it a little bit straighter like that. Wait, let me do this a little bit. My help. Okay, now. Okay, that's good. Now what I want to do is just... What we'll do is... hold on.